The National Basketball Association is on TSN. Each week, we'll provide live coverage, and for the first time, fans across Canada will see regular NBA games on a weekly basis. Professional basketball offers end-to-end action in a game where seconds can mean the difference between winning and losing.
Sunday night at 8 Eastern, Kansas City's at Utah, and Tuesday night at 7:30 Eastern, Philadelphia takes on New York. Two great games here on TSN.
Exclusive tennis coverage highlights a special Wednesday night here on the Sports Network. Tonight only, the TSN Sports Desk will be seen 1/2 hour earlier at 6:30. Then at 7, we travel down under to Melbourne for exclusive coverage of the women's semifinals on the Australian Open, followed by legendary pocket billiards. At 11, the late edition of the TSN Sports Desk. At 11:30, the face-to-face confrontations between newsmakers and newsbreakers on Sports Probe. And we continue all night long here on TSN. This is TSN, the Sports Network.
The NBA on TSN. Tonight from the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, the Pistons host the Boston Celtics. The season is not even a quarter old, but the world champion Boston Celtics are making a mockery of the so-called title jinx. Since 1967-68, no team has won back-to-back titles, but the Celtics seem determined to buck that trend as they stand alone atop the NBA with a 15-1 record. The Detroit Pistons, on the other hand, haven't been in sync all year. Picked by most experts to win the Central Division, the Pistons have floundered around the 500 mark, due in part to key injuries. Let's go to the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan. We'll join the game between the Detroit Pistons and the Boston Celtics.
From the Silverdome in Pontiac, Michigan, Pro-Am Sports presents NBA action as the Detroit Pistons go up against the Boston Celtics. Good evening, everybody. I'm Fred McLeod along with Tom Wilson for the third meeting of the season between these two basketball teams. The Boston Celtics have won 15 and lost 1 this season, claiming that the Pistons as a victim on 2 different occasions. Are you at all surprised that this ball club has come off the block so quickly?
I think everybody in the NBA is surprised that they've come back so quick. And the big thing is, you look at a year ago, and Philadelphia had so much trouble getting the big people motivated for one more try at the championship because they'd already done it one time. And Boston made a trade of a starting guard, Gerald Henderson, and yet they come back even stronger than they were a year ago because of that great inside game that they have.
Now, the Celtics are trying to do something that not even the great teams of the Bill Russells and the John Havliceks have ever done, and that is go 16-1 to start the season. Is there something really to that Celtic tradition and pride?
Oh, I think there definitely is. And you look at the faces that they've brought in over the years, and a lot of times they've been malcontents, like Charlie Scott, Dennis Johnson, people that have a reputation of being troublemakers. But they put on that Celtic green, they sit down and have a session with Red Auerbach, and suddenly they're playing with all the pride and poise of the veterans. And I think to do something that no Celtic team has ever done before is going to be a great motivator for this team tonight. It'll make that game more important than it ordinarily would be.
And they all come in and start smoking cigars, too, after talking to Red. I'm sure some people around the league say that the Celtics actually are playing better basketball than they did a year ago, winning championship banner number 15. And some are also saying that Larry Bird perhaps is playing even better than a year ago. Is that possible?
It's possible because he's looking to score more. And they're getting great play from the guards, of course, giving them an outside threat that they haven't had before, with Dennis Johnson playing better offensively than he has his whole career. That seems to have opened it up for Larry Bird. It's given him more options and frees him up a little bit from the defensive pressure that he's always felt in the past. So, if anything, he is playing better and he's getting more help from the people around him.
The last time these two ball clubs met, the Celtics won in Boston. Kelly Tripucka did not play at all. Dan Roundfield missed most of the game because of that sudden allergy that cropped up in Boston. So the fact that Kelly's not in uniform tonight, will the Pistons be able to match up fairly well with this club?
Well, they also have an additional player that they didn't have before. In fact, 2 additional players. John Long, who came back and had a superb game against Indiana the other night, which will give Detroit a little depth at guard and will help out against Dennis Johnson, who's been destroying Detroit so far in the 2 games. And also Brooks Steppe has scored 13 points a game in the 3 games that he's been here, and that gives Detroit additional depth. So they may do something different. They may be pressing a little bit, try and change the game and the tempo from the one that they've played the other 2 occasions.
And it's a big crowd expected here tonight. A game the Pistons need because they have not played very well at home.
No, they really haven't. And in fact, they're one of only about 5 teams that don't have a winning record at home. And they're going to have to play well against a very good team that wants to prove something tonight and do something that, as we said, no Celtic team has done before. So it's going to be a long evening, a tough evening, but it should be a lot of fun.
We'll be back to see if the Pistons can turn it around here at home. Please stay with us.
Let it shine on through
till tomorrow brings the dawn in this magic view.
There will never be another night that seems so right, and blue smiles along.
Taste keeps coming through.
Blue smiles along.
Taste keeps coming
yes,
through.
blue smiles along with you.
The Horse of the Year show from Wembley Arena, London, England. A 1-hour TSN exclusive presentation on Saturday, December 8th. This program will include Show Hunter of the Year, Basildon Bond International, and the Cross and Blackwell Trophy. An equestrian special, the 1984 Horse of the Year. Saturday, December 8th at 4 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the Sports Network.
Bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
These two ball clubs, you may recall, opened the NBA campaign here at the Silverdome on the 26th of October. Boston prevailing that evening, 130-123. Then a week later, they hooked up at the Garden in Boston. Home team winning again, 127-116. But Boston is 8-0 at home this year, 7-1 on the road, and they're doing literally anything they want to in the NBA this year. We'll get into some of the incredible numbers they have shown so far this year. For example, they're averaging 121.8 points per ball game. That is #1 in the league, and they have outscored, Tom, their opponents by an average of nearly 14 a night. That is incredible.
It's almost unheard of to put together a string of games such as Boston has, and they haven't been beating people, as you say. They've been absolutely dominating and destroying them. So it's quite a formidable task that the Pistons are going to have to control them tonight, and they have to do that on the inside.
Let's now see who the starting fives will be for the Pistons and Celtics.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet some of the world's greatest athletes. First, the starting lineup for the visiting world champion Boston Celtics. At 1 forward, 6'8" from UNC Charlotte, number 31, Cedric Maxwell. At the other forward, 6'9" from Indiana State, number 33, Larry Bird. At center, 7'1" from Centenary, number 00, Robert Parrish. At one guard, 6'4" from Pepperdine, number 3, Dennis Johnson. And at the other guard, 6'5" from Brigham Young, number 44, Danny Ainge. The head coach of the Celtics is Casey Jones. His assistants are Jim Rogers and Chris Ford. The trainer is Ray Melchiori. And now let's meet the starting lineup for our Detroit Pistons. At 1 forward, 6'7" from the University of Detroit, number 41, Terry Tyler. And the other forward, 6'8" from Central Michigan, number 32, Dan Roundfield. In the middle, 6'11" from Notre Dame, number 40, Bill Laimbeer. At one guard, 6'2" from Baylor, number 15, Vinnie Johnson. And at the other guard, 6'1" from Indiana, number 11, Isaiah Thomas. The head coach of the Pistons is Chuck Daly. His assistant is Dick Harder, and the trainer is Mike Abdenauer. The officials for tonight's game is assigned by the NBA. Number 20, Jess Kersey, and number 26, Bruce Alexander.
The Pistons come into the contest, of course, 9-9, 3-5 here in Pontiac, 6-4 on the road after knocking off Indiana last Saturday night in a ball game they desperately needed. The Pistons averaging 115 points a ball game, giving up 115.1. So for the first time all year, they're at least the virtual break-even point as far as points scored and points allowed. And NBA coaches, Tom, often look at that differential, and usually the better clubs are the ones who maybe are averaging 4 or 5 points a game.
And Detroit
giving up.
I'm sorry, Detroit had done that last year, and consistently they were beating people by good margins, and they were never getting blown out in games. And that's kind of held true this year. They have been winning big, but they lost a couple at the buzzer, and then they're blown out twice by the Knicks. But you're playing Boston; it's a whole different game altogether.
Pistons come away with a tap very quickly. Tyler will jump it. Little strong rebound to Robert Parrish. He gets 10 of those a night.
That'll be one of the key matchups tonight because Parrish enjoys playing against Lambier. He likes to take Lambier outside so that you free up the inside for Maxwell and Bird.
Ainge down low to Bird for a great little
Larry Bird from Danny Ainge.
Pass by Ainge. 2-0 our score. Bird averaging 33.5 a game against the Pistons this year. Larry got a hand on it, goes out of bounds to the guys in green. Quick pass down to Maxwell. May have walked, no call. Bird, in addition to those points, averaging well over 10 rebounds a ball game against Detroit this year. Dennis Johnson fires. Tyler ripped the rebound down. Vinny lost control. DJ stole it from him and saved to Bird. Dennis Johnson perhaps enjoying one of the finer years of his career. Bird. Parrish with an offensive rebound. 2-0 Boston. Ainge tries to make it 4, and he does.
Danny Ainge from Robert Parrish.
Should be a good matchup on the boards tonight. Both clubs averaging 47 rebounds a contest. Vinny Johnson around the Lambier screen. Roundfield with an offensive board. Tyler back out to Isaiah. He'll fire and hit.
Isaiah Thomas from Barry Fowler.
4-2 Boston. That home opener, the Pistons were within a point of Boston with 2 minutes to go, and then Larry Bird outscored Detroit 8-3, and that was about it. Ainge from 17. Little hard, Roundfield with a rebound. Pistons will come down 3-on-4. Lambier is open. In and out. Rebound to Dennis Johnson. Parrish, low post over Lambier. Forced it. Roundfield with a rebound. Good position by Billy that time.
Good defensive job by the Pistons, who all collapsed the minute that Parrish went inside.
Johnson got a piece of it. Tyler, though,
An advantage of somebody driving the lane, even though the shot was blocked. You saw all the green jerseys in the paint. When the ball came out, Tyler wide open for the jumper.
I'd say Dennis Johnson got a big piece of that basketball. That was rejected. Larry Bird, air ball to Roundfield. Pistons can break a 4-4 tie with a hoop. Isaiah will try and do it. Can't quite. Lambier hustled for the rebound, but Parrish won the battle. Boston quickly up court. Ainge bullet pass to Maxwell, who was fouled by Tyler.
Nice play by Cedric Maxwell. Actually had the easy layup if he keeps going on the left-hand side of the rim, but he cut underneath and forced Terry Tyler to foul him, hoping to get a three-point shot. Good play. See Maxwell, easy layup there. Cuts inside, initiates a contact, and wants to go with his right hand for a reverse layup. Still goes to the line and come away with points.
Maxwell, of course, did not play in the season opener here because he had just signed a new $800,000 a year contract the day prior and wasn't ready physically to play. He makes a big difference in this club, not so much in statistics, but just defensive abilities and rebounding abilities. Vinny Johnson comes up short. Rebound to Bird. Parrish. Fouled by travel. Thought he was going to call Isaiah with a foul that time.
They said that Parrish walked into it, actually. Here's a good pass by Dennis, but Parrish takes a few bunny hops. Most times they'll give you continuation on that. It wasn't too flagrant.
6-4, Boston by 2. Lambier off the glass.
Bill Lambier from Isaiah Thomas.
Lambier may maybe the most important Piston tonight. He's got to control Parrish. He's got to control the boards with the help of Danny Roundfield to keep Boston from dominating inside.
And he has to score some. Bird is nothing but net.
Danny Ainge.
Tough
Bird with
matchup.
4.
Tough matchup for Terry Tyler. He's got to get out and play Bird and get under his feet. Take that outside shot away. Make him put the ball on the floor.
Isaiah threw it away. Third turnover already for Detroit. We have not quite yet played 4 minutes of this one. 8-6 our score. Boston by 2. Dennis Johnson. Double team by Isaiah there for a moment, which left Ainge open. He missed the shot, though. Parrish on the follow-up. He missed, and Lambier with a rebound. Pistons are actually fortunate here. Boston has been controlling the offensive boards, but Detroit only down by a bucket.
See, Detroit's strategy is when the ball gets underneath, they're going to double and triple team all over the place, make them kick the ball out, make them shoot jump shots from outside.
Lambier is perfect for the right wing. Billy with a couple in a row. 8-8 our score. DJ. He can't get it. Roundfield ripped it down. To Vinny. 2-on-2 break. Has Tyler on the right, but couldn't get it to him. Isaiah off a Lambier pick. Back out to Roundfield. Vinny. 10 seconds for the shot. Lambier missed it. Bird with the rebound.
Try to get Tyler on the offensive glass right now. Bird's getting every rebound.
Ainge around Vinny Johnson. Hard off the glass. Got his own little layup off the rebound. No one contested that one. Ainge with 4. Pistons call a timeout. They trail by a score of 10-8 with 6:59 left to play in the opening quarter. So both clubs wanting to run here tonight. Should result in a high-scoring affair. Roundfield with 5 rebounds. Robert Parrish with 4, leading both ball clubs. We'll be back with more action on Pro-Am Sports.
Sociotech, a system of the future. It will encourage employees to learn as many skills as possible, to realize their full potential. The future, but the way many Shell Canada facilities are run today. Shell developed Sociotech because greater fulfillment means greater productivity, and now the world is taking note. Shell Canada, putting technology and people to work.
Exclusive tennis coverage highlights a special Wednesday night here on the Sports Network. Tonight only, the TSN Sports Desk will be seen 1/2 hour earlier at 6:30. Then at 7, we travel down under to Melbourne for exclusive coverage of the women's semifinals on the Australian Open, followed by legendary pocket billiards. At 11, the late edition of the TSN Sports Desk. At 11:30, the face-to-face confrontations between newsmakers and newsbreakers on Sports Probe. And we continue all night long here on TSN.
Ball boy or ball girl.
Boston leading here by a count of 10-8. Casey Jones, in his second year as head man with the Boston Celtics, 77-21 his record. Going back, of course, including last year, that's a winning percentage of 78. Listen to some of his statistics on his basketball resume. 2 NCAA championships as a player at the University of San Francisco. He was a part of that 56-game winning streak. A gold medal in the Olympics. He, of course, won 8 NBA championships with the Celtics as a player. Shared in a couple more as an assistant. So he really knows what winning is all about. Lambier with it to Tyler, who's open. Missed a shot over Maxwell, but Lambier hustled for the rebound. Billy puts it back up. Bird with position on Roundfield. Long pass to Maxwell. Isaiah the only Piston back. Maxwell blew the shot. Pistons get a big break. Vinny Johnson will fire and miss. Larry Bird with a rebound. Ainge and Parrish against Isaiah. Ainge leaves it for Robert. He blew the layup. 2 in a row. Lambier with a board.
Pistons playing with incredible luck right now. 2 easy ones given away.
Vinny Johnson flies to the hole.
Got to be careful, though. You're living on borrowed time when you get away with breakaways that don't work for the Celtics. Got to always watch them. You saw that time Robert Parrish leading the break down the floor. When the big guys are running on you, it can be a long night.
Red Auerbach might be choking on his cigar watching that back in Boston. We've got a 3-second violation on the Celtics. When is the last time you've seen Boston literally blow 2 uncontested layups? There you see what the Celtics have done to get to 15-1. Again, if they win tonight, 16-1 would be their best 17-game start into the club history. Tyler knocks down the jumper.
Good work. Pistons like to run that 2-man isolation, but clubs have been shutting it down by sending 3 people over there to collapse on Isaiah and Lambier. The key there is make 2 quick passes. One to hit the player at the top of the key, and the other one over to open man.
Tyler swatted it out of bounds. Maxwell bumped Roundfield on that trip to the bucket. No foul call.
Every once in a while you see a player determined to go to the hoop. That time Cornbread just lowered his shoulders like a running back and went for it.
Tyler got a hand on it. Crowd wanted an over and back call. 2 seconds to shoot. Johnson missed. Lambier with another rebound. Pistons playing exceptional defense here, throwing a little bit of luck. Isaiah missing. Bird with a rebound to Ainge, who tripped over Lambier. Ainge wanted a foul. Maxwell to the hole. He scores.
Cedric Maxwell.
Maxwell with 4. We have a 12-12 ball game. 4:50 to play in the first quarter. Things are starting to pick up a little bit in the physical department. Vinnie Johnson, good pass to Roundfield, who was fouled from behind by Parrish.
Troy ran an interesting little play that time. They took Lambier, sent him over by the Piston bench to pull Parrish away. That opens it up inside for Roundfield. The Pistons try and get it in there. Parrish reacting, getting back, and fouling Danny across the back. Although Maxwell got him a little ahead of that, I guess.
So it is a foul on Maxwell. And here comes trouble. Kevin McHale off the Boston bench. And Brooks Steppe reporting in for Chuck Daly.
32, Kevin McHale.
Roundfield makes it 13-12 with his first point of the night. There you get a look at McHale, who just came off some nose surgery yesterday. Suffered a broken nose in Cleveland Saturday, played with the problem on Sunday, and then, in fact, did not even fly in with the team today. Arrived a little bit late. But I guess you don't have to smell to be a good basketball player.
No, there's a lot of basketball players that smell, though.
I knew you were going to say that. McHale with a rebound, puts it back up and in.
Kevin McHale.
Takes him about 3 seconds to score.
Typical incredible Kevin McHale rebound. He got 2 Pistons boxing him out completely. Kevin timed it better than they did and went up strong and came away with it.
Steppe replacing Isaiah Thomas. Vinny missed a shot. And we've got a foul against a Boston player.
Good position, though, that time by Lambier and Roundfield, who surrounded Parrish on the offensive glass. If Detroit can charge the lane, as you see Vinnie Johnson doing there, it's going to make everybody come towards him, either Vinny or Isaiah. And once you make things happen inside that lane, it allows your big guys to go down and get position so that you can get some boards off of this massive front line.
Parrish picked up that loose ball foul. Tyler short. Ainge with a rebound against Steppe. Baseball pass to DJ right on the hands. He lays it in. Fine assist by Ainge.
Say baseball pass. It came from a baseball player. Nice throw by Danny Ainge.
Yeah, the Blue Jays didn't mind his arm. It was his bat that forced him to think about basketball more seriously. Steppe missing. McHale with position. Vinnie Johnson steals the outlet pass from Dennis Johnson. Good ball movement. Tyler from 15. Yes.
Terry Tyler from Vinnie Johnson.
6 for Terry. It's 16 all. 3:25 left in the quarter. Danny Ainge. He misses. Tyler over a couple of people for the rebound. Steppe up court now. Tyler fills it. Leaves it for Roundfield who jams.
Just a great play by Terry Tyler, just instinct. Everybody went to him. Bird, McHale, Danny Roundfield, nice roll to the hoop, wide open for the easy layup. Detroit playing very well right now, Fred.
Calls timeout.
Pistons with an 18-16 lead. They're also dropping back defensively as Boston immediately looking for that long outlet pass like Gus Williams enjoys with the Washington Bullets. I wonder if maybe they watched a little bit of that tape from that ball game last week.
Well, part of that is the nature of the 2 guards that Detroit has playing. Brooks Steppe likes to go to the hole. Vinnie Johnson works better inside of 15 feet. And as soon as Steppe shoots, then Vinnie Johnson by instinct goes to the glass a lot. Now, you're taught to do that early in your career, but you have to remember, on this level, particularly when you have a rebounding club such as the Celtics, they're going to control their own defensive glass, and they're going to let the guards leak out. So if both of your guards are hitting the glass, they're going to be open for the long pass, and Boston throws it as well as anybody in basketball.
Season ticket packages that are still available for this year.
Boston averaging 121 a game. That is indeed number one in the NBA. They've won 11 of their 15 games this year by 11 points or more. So they're running like the Boston Celtics of old. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of Pro-Am Sports System and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our subscribers. Any use or reproduction of this broadcast without the express written permission of Pro-Am Sports is prohibited.
Seat 13.
Now, you talk about those great offensive statistics, but people overlook what a fine defensive team Boston can be. You know, last year they were 4th in the league behind, I think, Atlanta, Milwaukee, and New York. So they were the best defensive team among the non-snail variety. Those other teams just tend to slow it down. They don't score a lot. They don't give up much. It's kind of dictated by the tempo.
It seems as though they are running a little bit more this year, aided by the fact that they've been able to rebound very well, and you can see how those numbers are very close. And of course, when you are winning the battle on the boards just about every night, in fact, they've out-rebounded opponents 12 of 16 times, then you can run. And of course, the Celtic fast break has been famous for decades, and it seems like they are interested in running more this year. Win Buckner now, the third guard off Kick-C Jones' bench, now in the ball game. Replacing Ainge. Bird over Lambier. Got it.
Larry Bird from Dennis Johnson.
Bird, one of the few people in the NBA that can alter the arc of his shot and yet be effective no matter how he shoots it. He can shoot it flat. He can go high when he has to, as he did against Lambier that time.
Pistons shooting 36%. Boston only 32%. You know those numbers will change. Vinny missing. Parrish banged Bird and got the rebound. Now leaves it for Larry. 2:25 on the first quarter clock. 18-18 tie. McHale may have pushed off on Roundfield. He did.
He did, and he did it right in front of Bruce Alexander. You get away with it a lot. In fact, as the game goes on, you're going to see Kevin McHale get away with it all night. But that time, Bruce caught him. You like to go at McHale now offensively because you can get him in foul trouble. McHale, as much as Bird, is a key to this Boston club against Detroit.
Lambier fires. Bird with another rebound.
Bird always in perfect position on the glass, always.
He only has 5 here in the first quarter. Parrish around Lambier was fouled by Billy. And Tony Campbell will now report into the lineup for Terry Tyler.
That's a tough little move by Parrish, just too quick for Billy, but a good foul by him. If you're Parrish, you got to try that shot all night long because Lambier either is going to foul you or he's going to let you go by for 2 points because he's not going to be quick enough to get there ahead of you.
Parrish has made a more concerted effort to play down low much more this year, and as a result, he is shooting over 60% from the floor. That's Cornbread Maxwell-like. 2018 as Parrish sinks a pair.
2 minutes.
His first 2 points of the night. Boston has scored the last 6 points. Inside 2 minutes remaining in the quarter. Good pick set by Roundfield. McHale on the switch. Roundfield should be able to post up Buckner. McHale switched back, and Bird picked up the rebound. Good hustle by McHale.
Maybe imagination, but I think Bird has every rebound in this game so far.
It seems like it. Campbell got a hand on it. Carlos Clark in the ball game, and he fires and scores.
Nice shot by Carlos Clark, but between he and Buckner, you've got some real Masons out there playing guard for them.
They can play some defense, though. Tony Campbell, his first shot of the night. Short. Parrish with a muscular rebound. Carlos Clark, second-year man out of Mississippi. 4th-round draft pick. In fact, the first 4th-round pick to make the Celtic roster since Steve Kaburski back in the late 60s. Here's a name from the past. Bird, off balance, drew the foul from Campbell. I think that's all he was looking for there.
Detroit
22-18 Celtics by 4 as Isaiah comes back quickly. And Vinny Johnson will sit down.
Since Isaiah went out, the Pistons have not scored a point, so it's important to get him back in the ball game. It controls the tempo a little bit better for the Pistons. Referees have a great deal to do with how you play the Celtics. If they call a tightly controlled game, and don't let it get as physical as the Celtics would like it, then you've got a better chance of beating them. But if they let everything go and just let the guys go out and play, Boston will beat you 9 times out of 10. Even more, I guess, this year.
Larry Bird makes it 10 straight for Boston. He has 8 in the ball game, and it's a 24-18 Celtic lead. 50 seconds remaining in the first quarter. A couple of Hoosiers battling out front. 8 seconds to shoot. Not much movement. Campbell with 4 to shoot. He's in trouble. Isaiah fires. Missing as the shot clock goes up. And Steppe with the loose ball rebound. Campbell will shoot and score off the glass.
Tony Campbell gives you a little heart failure every time he goes up for the shot because it seems like it takes him forever to get the ball from down by his feet and up. But the great shooters seem to know their limitations, and they know how long it takes them to get it off.
I don't think you'll see Tony rush many shots, will you? 24-20, down to the final 10 seconds now of the quarter. Bird double teamed by Campbell and Thomas, missing the shot. Lambert with a rebound. 4 seconds remaining. Pistons have to hurry. Terrible passes. Parrish winds up with it and misses. Fortunately for Tony Campbell. I don't know what he was thinking about.
Well, they teach you to hit the open man, but usually they try and get you to hit one in your own uniform.
Yeah, that does tend to help. We have played 12 minutes here at the Silverdome, and the Pistons find themselves on the short end of a 24-20 score. We'll be back with the second quarter. Pistons basketball coming your way on Pro-Am Sports.
This Christmas, you can put an Apple IIc under your tree for under $2,000 with a monitor, carrying case, and over $300 of rebate coupons for a printer, external disk drive, joystick, Apple mouse, and 9 mind-expanding software programs. Then, there are another 10,000 Apple IIc programs to explore, which very nicely solves the problem of what to give next Christmas, and the Christmas after that, and the Christmas after that.
They are cars engineered to challenge Buick Century and Old Sierra, but for hundreds of dollars less. Dodge 600, Plymouth Caravelle. You can't beat them. You can't beat them with comfort for a family of 6 and luxury equipment with 5-year or 80,000 kilometer protection with the option of turbo power. Dodge 600, Plymouth Caravelle. You can't beat them.
Chrysler leads the way.
Just about everyone has played darts at some time. Ever wonder how the best in the world play? A steady hand and a keen eye can earn a champion a great deal of prize money. TSN has exclusive coverage of the World Match Play Darts Championship on consecutive Saturdays. Semi-final on December 1st, final on December 8th, right here on the Sports Network.
Pistons down 24-20 after 1 quarter of play, and leaping through the book here, it appears as though, in fact, it is their lowest first quarter of the year, their second lowest quarter output of the season. They had 18 in a third quarter effort against Milwaukee, a ball game they did manage to win.
Number 54, Kent Benson.
The Pistons are getting some shots, Tom, but usually the Celtics are right up there in their face, so you got to credit Boston with some good defense. Carlos Clark opening at guard in the second quarter, along with Quinn Buckner. It's Bird, Maxwell, and McHale up front for the Celtics. Benson now on the ball game, battling Maxwell down low. Cedric Cook's over, missed a shot, and the Pistons, 2 of them battling for the rebound, knock it out of bounds.
You could hear Detroit yelling "same, same" underneath, meaning same team. They surrounded that ball, but nobody could get their hands on it. Key right now, keep the ball in the hands of the guards. Neither Buckner or Carlos Clark can dribble, but they'll go inside to McHale or Bird.
Steppe got a hand on it and stole it from Maxwell again. Uncontested layup. He gets 2 steals for that? Good way to start the second quarter. 24-22 Boston. Steppe now helping out with Maxwell. Brooke Steppe just making things happen out there when he comes in a ball game.
Kind of guy that picks up the tempo for you on defense, and that'll pick it up on the other end too.
Larry Bird with a patented set shot. 26-22. Bird now with 10. He's the first one to reach double figures tonight. And we got a foul way up.
Boston foul number 28, Quinn Buckner.
His first.
Number 3,
Dennis Johnson will come back in replacing Clark.
Here we go. Right. Get up, Tony, get up.
Lambier with a screen. Isaiah fires and misses. Rebound to Dennis Johnson. DJ bumped by Steppe. And the foul was before the shot.
Brook kind of sacrificing his body that time. McHale racing down the middle. Brook tried to impede his progress by stepping in front of him. Here now as he fights off McHale, he runs into Dennis Johnson, picks up the foul.
Thought Brook was going to body slam McHale, like he was getting ready for a two-point takedown. Steppe with his first personal foul. First on the Pistons in the quarter. Steppe was off his feet. Isaiah may have gotten a fingertip on that one from behind. Stolen by Bird. Intended for Campbell. Dennis Johnson all alone. He comes up short again. Kent Benson with a rebound. Dennis Johnson having problems shooting tonight. He's 1 of 5. He came in shooting over 50% for the season, which is well above his career average. Campbell. Yes.
Tony Campbell.
So you have to play Tony Campbell the same way we talk about playing Larry Bird. Get out there and get on him. Don't let him set up. Make him put the ball on the floor, because Tony can kill you if you leave him alone.
Boston by a bucket again. Maxwell falling down. Isaiah tried to steal, somehow couldn't. Maxwell got it back, but he walked in the paint.
Actually, Cornbread Maxwell saved the Pistons that time because he picked off a ball that was headed underneath for an open man.
So Detroit with another opportunity to tie it here. Steppe with a good quick move to the hole was fouled, and fouled good by Dennis Johnson.
I tell you,
Boston foul number 3.
Brooks Steppe was not going to go all the way to the hole and get a bucket there. Now watch him. They completely grab his arm here. I'm not sure if it's McHale or Dennis Johnson. I guess Dennis Johnson got him right on the arm and turned him around in a circle. Steppe had a better chance of making a basket at the other end by the time he came down.
Steppe working on 3 successive games. This would be his 4th if he can hit the 13-point mark again. At 13 against Portland, Washington, and then Indiana last Saturday night at Market Square Arena. I asked him before the ball game if maybe he should have his jersey number switched around from 31 to 13. He's an excellent free thrower.
He's really been the most pleasant surprise to happen to the Detroit Pistons this year. You pretty much have given quantities out there all the time. Steppe, kind of a mystery, comes in and plays so well to key 2 victories for you in a week's time.
We've got a foul underneath as Bird and Campbell were jostling for position.
Detroit foul number 31, Brooks Steppe.
It'll be Steppe, though, on a foul. Second on Brook.
Well, Brook doesn't take anything. You know, Dennis Johnson, one of the more physical guards in basketball, but Brook's going to give it right back to him. Detroit needs a little bit of that. You know, sometimes they let people come to him. You got to go at them.
Bird got free for the layup.
Kevin McHale.
McHale with the assist. Bird with a dozen points. 28-26 Celtics. Danny Ainge back in the Boston lineup. Tony Campbell from 18 feet. Little strong. McHale with a rebound. Boston can run it here. 4-on-3 break. Bird blocked by Lambier. And Billy really put Larry Bird away that time.
Great play. Great play. You know, you got to do that, Fred. We've talked about it all year. It's a physical game, and I guarantee you it's going to happen at the other end. Good pass by Maxwell. Lambier not trying to hit Bird, just coming in late. Got a little bit of the ball and laid Larry Bird out. You have to let him know you're not going to go in there unmolested.
All right, if you're Larry Bird, you say, okay, I'll get even with you next time, or does that maybe light the fire, so to speak, for Bird?
There's going to be a little bit of that, and that's the danger of hitting a player like Larry Bird. But I'll tell you, Bird has his own way out there. He fouls a heck of a lot and doesn't get called for it very often. And you just sort of have to make him think a little bit when he goes up for that shot, and don't let him play it free and easy when he goes in the lane.
John Long and Earl Curitan check into the Detroit lineup. Bird is 4-4 from the stripe tonight. He's got 14 points. 30-26 Boston. Long off a Benson pick. Leaves it for Campbell. He hit.
Tony Campbell from John Long.
Tony 3 of 5 in the shooting department now. 30-28. Boston with the lead. McHale over a fallen Curitan. And we've got Piston basketball out of bounds.
That's another new defensive strategy Coach Daly has inserted into the game. You know, fall at his feet. If we can't stop him by jumping, we'll trip him.
Down into the foxhole method. Long, missing. Curitan with a board. Goes inside, very strong.
Good patient shot by Earl Curitan. Worked his way inside McHale. Didn't go strong up. Just gave a little head fake and then put it in with a little bit of finesse. Nice play by Curitan.
30-30 our score. We've got a heck of a basketball game brewing here. Pistons giving no ground to the world champs of the NBA. 8:20 remaining in the second quarter. Can't get much closer than this.
This, as you know, is your telephone. But then this is your telephone too. And this. And this. And these are just some of the services available to you nationwide through this. Whether you are this or this. So isn't it nice to know that something that does all of this also does this?
By the way, happy birthday, Jack.
All this through your telephone company. A member of Telecom Canada.
Exclusive tennis coverage highlights a special Wednesday night here on the Sports Network. Tonight only, the TSN Sports Desk will be seen 1/2 hour earlier at 6:30. Then at 7, we travel down under to Melbourne for exclusive coverage of the women's semifinals on the Australian Open, followed by legendary pocket billiards. At 11, the late edition of the TSN Sports Desk. At 11:30, the face-to-face confrontations between newsmakers and newsbreakers on Sports Probe. And we continue all night long here on TSN.
30-30 our score in the second quarter. I want to remind you that coming up tomorrow, a chance to really stay on top of what's going on in the NBA. NBA Weekly, a half-hour show here on Pro-Am Sports featuring highlights of the best action and top stories of the past NBA week. 7 o'clock tomorrow night on Pro-Am Sports. And then coming up at 7:30 from Chrysler Arena, the Youngstown State Penguins will take on the unbeaten Michigan Wolverines. That's live on Pro-Am Sports beginning at 7:30. Well, we figured the shooting would heat up a bit. It has. In the second quarter, particularly the Pistons, 57%. Boston is up a little bit, 40%. Larry Bird is 5 of 9 in the ball game. Bird is now on the bench, getting his first rest of the evening. Maxwell had it knocked away, but was fouled by Campbell.
Late whistle that time by Bruce Alexander. I think in that situation, you wait and see what happens to the ball. At least that's what Bruce did that time. I don't think he was going to call it if Boston had come up with it as it kind of skittered out of Maxwell's fingers.
They charged the foul to Benson. Maxwell was 3 for 3 from the line tonight.
The thing I admire most, I think, about Boston is that they're so good and they've got so much talent, but they come to play every single night. You never have an easy night against the Celtics.
Maxwell may be the spiritual leader of this ball club, too. He's the senior member of the team. Curitan to the hole, strong again. Missed it, though. McHale with a rebound. 31-30 Boston. We have played 4:20 of the second quarter. Ainge over Isaiah. Got it.
Danny Ainge from Dennis Johnson.
Danny Ainge become a 50% shooter this year. Makes the Pistons play him a little bit tougher now, and that's what makes the Celtics a little better. He's a better outside shooter than Gerald Henderson was a year ago.
Benson off the Curitan pass. Hooks it home.
Benson.
Benny with his first bucket of the night. 33-32 Celtics in front by 1.
Tough shot by Benny, and one of the few he's going to be able to get off against McHale because of those long arms that Kevin has.
Ainge will fire again and hit again.
Danny Ainge.
You're seeing Ainge get hot because Isaiah's cheating off. He's double teaming on the ball underneath, and they're kicking it over the top, hitting the open man, which has been Ainge the last 2 times down.
Benson strong. Curitan tried to get to the rebound, but Dennis Johnson won the battle. Boston by 3. Parrish stumbled on the way to the bucket, but was fouled. Foul the on Curitan.
Boston just keeps coming at you with those 4 big guys that they interchange here. When you rest your big man like Lambier, it gives you Robert Parrish going against Earl Cureton. A 4-inch height advantage for the Celtics. Boston will take advantage of that every time down the court.
You mentioned Isaiah helping out as Parrish misses. In the past, you could do that, but Danny Ainge worked very, very hard on his outside shooting during the offseason. And apparently it's paying off. He was down to 18 minutes a game playing time for K.C. Jones last year and felt he had to work on his game if he was going to get back to the status he enjoyed 2 years ago under Bill Fitch. John Long, missing. Rebound to Parrish, took it away from Cureton. 36-32 Boston. Maxwell.
Cedric Maxwell.
Maxwell was 7. It's 38-32, and Boston inches the lead back to 6. Isaiah to an open Tyler. Terry missing again. DJ with another rebound for Boston.
The Pistons don't have a lineup in there that can shoot very well from outside.
McHale blocked by Benson. Kent says, I got nothing but basketball, but Jess Kersey says you got a little more than that. And Kent will get the foul.
Detroit foul number 54, Kent Benson. That's his second.
There'll be a little bit of body down here, I think. Nice job by Benson. Not too much contact, but the great players, McHale's going to get that call. There was a little bit of contact there, enough maybe to call the foul.
33, Larry Bird back into the Boston lineup.
You won't see Benny react like that unless he feels he's got an honest case, though.
I was going to say, you took the words out of my mouth. Isaiah, a similar player, and we saw him complain a great deal last Friday night against Washington here. So when those guys argue their point, you know they must have a pretty good case. Number 33 back in the Boston lineup. McHale splits him, and he has 3 points.
Danny Roundfield back in the Piston lineup. That might enable Detroit to go inside. You know, with this group they have now, they're just out-height, I guess you'd say, outsized underneath, and Roundfield's the only way they've got to break even.
Tyler with 7 seconds on the shot clock. He's buried.
Terry Kohler from Isaiah Thomas.
Terry with 8. It's 39-35 Boston.
Here it comes!
Bird working with McHale. Forces it up and drops it home.
The old bank shot off the bottom of the rim, I think, that time by Bird. He can make them anyway.
Yep, any way he wants. Tyler is open on the dish off. He hits nothing but that. Pretty assist by Isaiah. 10 for Tyler. He leads Detroit in the scoring department. 41-36 Celtics. Parrish had it stripped. Isaiah stole it. He was fouled in the backcourt. Well, you can see the determination written all over Isaiah's face as he came out of that scramble.
Well, again, it's everybody collapsing underneath as Parrish wheels towards the center. See Isaiah going over. You see Roundfield made him hold up on that shot, and then the ball was stripped away. Isaiah wanted it more than Parrish, and of course he was down there closer to it than Robert was.
John Long to Isaiah. Long is yet to hit a bucket this evening. Isaiah forced it. Not a good shot, but Roundfield got the rebound. Tyler will try again. Misses this time. Cureton keeping it alive to Roundfield. He scored! Brown leads it 41-38.
Pistons with good work on the offensive glass and on the offensive floor, I guess, actually, on that rebound.
4:20 left to go in the second quarter. Great intensity out here tonight. Parrish. Did he walk? No, says Bruce Alexander.
Tough call. Earl doing all that he can, which is just lay your body on top of Parrish. We'll get a good look at it. Parrish swinging around, using his elbow for leverage. That's a tough call. That's a tough call. That's called hooking your man on offense. No question, that's what happened. Not much contact by Cureton that time. It's back to what we were saying earlier. You need a little bit of help from the referees. You know, they have to give you every physical break that they're going to give the Celtics.
Parrish has missed 1 of 5. He's now 5 of 6. 5 points for the big guy. 43-38 Boston by 5. Isaiah, nice little move to the hole. He darted. 4 for Isaiah.
See the opposition so often bringing that third man over to keep Isaiah from moving the ball inside. Don't let him penetrate. Make him beat you outside.
Danny Ainge got Vinny out of position and knocked it in. Ainge with 3 second-quarter field goals with 10 points. 45-40 Boston. They have led by as many as 7. Tyler. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Round field a turnaround. Jammed in by Isaiah. Where did he come from? Oh, my.
If we ever see that play again, I have a feeling the ball might be in the cylinder. But he went over everybody. Right? Yeah, that's right.
Did he?
What a play.
How many point guards do that? And we got an elbowing foul on Parrish. The crowd at the Silverdome really getting into this one. They're seeing a heck of a basketball game in the early going. Third foul on Parrish.
Got to go right at him right now. Run that two-man isolation if you can, but go at Parrish.
45-42. Lambier missing. Bird with a rebound.
Good strategy. Sometimes you have to initiate the contact, be on the move, and make Parrish react to a head fake.
Bird missing. Isaiah got the rebound. Working against Ainge and Bird. Good pass to Tyler. Missed the shot. Round field a rebound. Blocked by Parrish. Taken away by Tyler. Pistons with a fresh 24. Oh, these clubs are really going at each other. Lambier inside around field. Tyler trying to get it. Does. He's fouled.
Detroit just playing with more intensity right now, Fred, than the Celtics. The crowd's loving it. Detroit wants it a little bit more in this sequence.
I think this is as intense an effort we've seen from the Pistons at home all year, including the home opener. Timeout Pistons, 2:30 remaining in the second quarter. 45-42 Boston. This feels like it's April, not in December.
Oh, they're really going at it. It looks like a game that's important to the Pistons as well as should be. And I'll tell you, sometimes you just go at people when you play this game. You see Terry with a little bit of fake, gets it down to round field. Now watch for Isaiah coming out of nowhere. High shot's going to come off the rim. Who's that little guy? Oh, that's a tough play. I'm telling you, right over Parrish's back. Kind of uses number 00 as a stepladder on his way up to this guy. Watch that.
You guys ready?
It's 6-1, huh?
Set.
Is that goaltending now? That's a question. If the ball is partially in the cylinder, it is. But got to give him a basket just for looking good, if nothing else.
Listen, Kersey nor Alexander had the heart to deny that one.
Usually when you see intensity in a game, Fred, you're going to see it on the glass. It's a matter of who wants the boards more than the other team. And so far, Detroit's played Boston pretty even. And Boston usually dominates by, I know last year, about a 4.5 rebound per game average. And that's more significant maybe than it sounds.
Pistons with an opportunity by week's end, perhaps as you get a look at the huge throng here at the Silverdome tonight. An opportunity to draw even or even go ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks in the Central Division standings. Should the Pistons win tonight and Milwaukee perhaps lose tomorrow night against Philadelphia, you're talking about a half a game separating these two clubs going into the game, the second meeting of the year between the two clubs in Milwaukee.
That'll be an exciting game. It'll be interesting to see what Don Nelson's strategy is, though, because many times he plots ahead, Don Nelson, the Milwaukee coach, for games that he wants to target. And if he doesn't think he can beat Philadelphia, he'll back off on that game, rest his players, and come at Detroit strong on Thursday.
The statistic we alluded to earlier, Boston winning the battle of the glass virtually every game.
Phil Goldsmith, Gene Peterson, Tom Horn.
Kelly Tripucka is still not quite healed from that hamstring pull.
Herb Abrash.
Think he might be ready Friday by any chance?
There's a possibility he'll be back Friday, but the doctors are somewhat hesitant. They'd like to maybe bring him back on Tuesday next. That would give him an extra 2 or 3 days of rest to make sure that muscle's in great shape before he tries it.
The rebounding battle couldn't get any closer, 25 per team. Second quarter shooting, Boston is up to 65%, nearly 65%. And the Pistons shooting at 44%. Tyler with a pair. Terry with a dozen points in the first half.
Terry, the beneficiary of some great passes from Isaiah Thomas. See Boston kind of collapsing on everybody else. Terry standing over in a corner shooting jump shots so far tonight.
Pistons trail 45-44. McHale hooking over Lambert. Perfect.
Really has to get help on that. If he can make McHale wheel towards the center, then you've got to get the guards collapsing back and make McHale pick up that dribble.
47-44 Boston. Isaiah off a Tyler pick. Double clutch. And puts it in. 8 for Isaiah.
He had a little magnet on the twine that time. That ball just kept curling over the top of the rim.
47-46, the Celtic lead back to 1. McHale spots Dennis Johnson. Isaiah double teaming, which leaves Ainge open out front. Johnson will finally take it. Maxwell kept it alive. Good hustle. Out of bounds, though. Give it to the Pistons.
Got to play good position on the boards against the Celtics because they're so tall, they'll beat you with ability. You got to box them out.
Final minute and a half of the first half. Pistons can regain a lead here. They led by as many as 4 in the first quarter. Tyler wheeled around the round field pick. Danny got it down low and walked. Good call by Kersey.
No basket. Traveling.
1:15 remaining until intermission. Boston clinging to 1-point advantage. Maxwell, I don't know what he was doing.
I think that was a pass.
I think so.
Better than most of his outside shots, though. Got to give him credit.
He drew iron. Isaiah lost it off his foot. Better watch out. He could be getting a technical here if he's not careful. Larry Bird wanted to take the ball away from Kersey.
I'm telling
and now
you.
we're going to give it to the Pistons.
I think Isaiah talked him out of it, plain and simple. He called it one way. He said it went off Isaiah's foot. Isaiah said, no, it didn't. It went off Bird's foot. And Kersey plays it over again. I haven't seen that happen.
You don't.
Anytime I can remember.
Especially that long after he's already made a call. Casey Jones and Jimmy Rogers can't believe it.
Get a good look at it. Isaiah puts it on the floor. It goes off Bird's foot. Honest man there. It's good to see.
Virtuous Isaiah Thomas. Vinnie Johnson on the rebound. Couldn't get the bucket to go home. And we've got a backcourt foul.
Boy, tough sequence for the Piston. Roundfield gets hammered on the layup. Vinnie Johnson, good job on the offensive glass. Tried to make an almost impossible off-balance shot. Couldn't get it to fall. And then I think Vinnie, out of frustration, just hammered Maxwell in the backcourt.
Vinnie with his first personal. Sending Maxwell to the foul line.
Plus the penalty for 2 shots.
Where he is 3 of 4 tonight. You can see a pretty darn good free throw shooter for the season. Maxwell perfect again. He's got 9, and it's 49-46. Boston by 3. 40 seconds left to go in the quarter.
And Detroit would like to put one up with about 30 to go, so they get 2 shots for 1 the end of the quarter.
30 seconds even now. Roundfield lost it. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Tyler over Bird, missing. Vinnie lost a rebound. Roundfield didn't. Was blocked. Final 20 seconds now. DJ, good pass to Ainge. Comes up short. Bird, who else with a rebound. Larry stepped out of bounds.
Out of bounds, Detroit ball.
Pistons will get it back now with 16 seconds remaining in the quarter. So they can at least draw within 1 at halftime.
Roundfield really struggling around the glass tonight. He's had a few blocked. He's had them blocked from the bottom of the basket. He's let a few trickle out of his hands.
Final 5 seconds. Isaiah crossover move. Over McHale. Missed a shot. McHale with a rebound. And that'll do it. Wouldn't have counted anyway. So we have finished 2 quarters of play here at the Silverdome. Hot and heavy NBA activity, to say the least. 49 Boston, 46 Detroit at halftime. We'll be back with some very interesting festivities for you at halftime, including an interview with Chuck Daly to find out the state of the Pistons. Don't go away.
I tell my dad, this Chevy S10's tough, sure. But you know, Dad, tough's not enough. A guy needs good looks and a good deal, too. Buy this good-looking Chevy S10 sports model and get these options with over $450 at no extra cost. And Dad, Chevy S10's got Canada's lowest price for a V6 powered truck. Tough, sure, but tough's not enough.
Kid gets his good looks from me.
That's the Chevy way to go.
Way to go, Chevy!
Way to go, Chevy!
There's a time we all know when everyone does the best. Everything comes together. You leave all the rest. You're number one at what you do. Number one at this spot for you.
Budweiser with the clean, smooth Beechwood aged taste that's made it number one, the world's most popular beer.
In all you do, this Bud's for you.
The Sports Network is hot in December with a sizzling lineup of super specials. Tennis stars like John McEnroe will be on hand when Team USA takes on Team Sweden in Davis Cup action. And things will really start to heat up with our Super College Bowl coverage, ending with the Bluebonnet Bowl on December 31st. Warm up with some great golf from Florida, the J.C. Penney Classic Mixed Competition. Later in the month, it's the Chrysler Team Invitational. The U.S. college football season draws to a close, and the heat wave continues from down under with the Australian Open. Follow the scorching action of professional indoor soccer and the BMX Pro Spectacular Series. And action really gets hot with NBA plus Canadian and American college basketball. The TSN Sports Desk keeps you informed with the latest news, all in a hot December, right here on the Sports Network.
Pistons on the short end here of a 49-46 score after 2 quarters of play. Dan Roundfield leading the rebounding battle tonight, and it's indeed been a battle on the glass. Roundfield with 9 rebounds, Lambeer with 7. Larry Bird has 7, as does Robert Parrish for Boston. And the rebounding statistic, anytime you play the Celtics, Tom, is a very important number.
Probably the most important figure of the evening. Roundfield done a great job on the glass. He hasn't been able to execute well enough on offense to really be a factor. But if you can just contribute from that power forward position by controlling the boards and controlling Kevin McHale as he has done so far this evening, then you can help the Pistons win a ball game that would be very difficult for them to get otherwise.
I would imagine Chuck Daly feels rather fortunate to have his basketball team just a game and a half out of first place, even though through 18 games they are 9-9. And he knew coming in tonight that he was facing a very difficult task taking on the world champions. He told me before the ball game he's not at all surprised that Boston is 15-1.
We're going to win tonight, and I know how many of you are.
Chuck, you look at the Celtic lineup, and maybe you can say perhaps the Lakers or the Sixers could possibly have more talent, although maybe it's apples and oranges here. But what makes this club so outstanding? Why are they 15-1?
I think a couple of reasons. One, they have a player named Bird who really is the most valuable player in the league, and he finds a way to beat you. In the 2 previous games we've played, in the last few minutes, he took over the game. Last 3 or 4 minutes, scored 10 points in both contests, and literally took the game over. Plus the fact that they have the most post-up people in the league in terms of Parrish, Maxwell, McHale, Bird, and Dennis Johnson, premier post-up people, which really brings your percentage up in terms of shooting, and all those people can really score down there. I would say those 2 areas, plus they've got the tradition, they know how to win.
As far as the Pistons are concerned, a real tough week. You got Milwaukee, another divisional leader on the road, then you've got Denver, another divisional leader at home here. Is it a situation where you're looking at the schedule and saying, hey, it's going to be tough to rip off a lot of wins in a row unless we play the kind of basketball that we're really capable of?
I think with the exception of possibly Philly and Boston and maybe one other club who I'm not ready to recognize yet, I think it's going to be difficult for anyone to rip off a lot of wins in terms of schedule. I don't think it's going to be what people thought. I think we're going to have to continue to grind it out, try to hover and battle to say 500, and hang in there and try to win this division sometime during the course of January, February on down to the end of the season.
Is this club anywhere near what you thought it might be after 18 games?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. One, we've changed a lot of faces. No one would anticipate the injuries to Tripucka, who's going to miss 10 out of our first 21, the 2.5 weeks by Roundfield, and then John eventually coming back. I think we won't realize our potential till sometime down the road where, we can get some time together as a unit, and we're not even close to that at the present time.
I think a lot of people wrote off perhaps Milwaukee when Lanier was retired, and of course when they made the deal sending Marcus Johnson to the West Coast, but from day one you said, look out for that club because it's not going to be a giveaway.
Well, it's a very solid club. They changed very few faces. They only changed Cummings, really, for Marcus, and Lanier was playing limited minutes. So they pretty much knew what they were going to do. They're running the same stuff, doing the same things defensively, with the addition basically of one player. And it's a very solid club, and Don Nelson's done a fantastic job of coaching them.
So I would presume then you figure this race is going to go down to the final week, or at least the final couple of weeks?
I think it's going to be a 3-team race with Chicago because they've just finished that West Coast swing and are in good shape. We have them twice next week. I think it's basically a 3-team race, and even Atlanta could come on, and I think injuries will have a lot to do with determining who finally wins the division.
So a gray hair or two may crop up along the way?
Yeah, they're always present and coming out every day, unfortunately.
Okay, Chuck, thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
We'll be back with more halftime festivities right after this timeout.
Train is not a physical thing, it's a concept. It's waking up in the morning and finding that your house is warm because the oil's there, that your cornflakes are there. Someone has moved all of these things to you. It's then that you appreciate the concept.
Well, transportation is an integral part of everything that we do, everything that we purchase. It is without transportation, you wouldn't have an economy.
Just like the father of the country, keeps the whole thing together. Really does. It makes our land.
When you hear that distant whistle song and the steel wheel down the track, there's bread on the table and clothes on your back. The freight we all take for granted is heading here on time. The best things in life are all aboard the CP railway line. I work the CP railway line. I go where the steel rail guides me. I'm bound to haul a heavy load down an independent road. I work the CP railway line.
CP Rail, helping Canada move forward.
Exclusive tennis coverage highlights a special Wednesday night here on the Sports Network. Tonight only, the TSN Sports Desk will be seen 1/2 hour earlier at 6:30. Then at 7, we travel down under to Melbourne for exclusive coverage of the women's semifinals on the Australian Open, followed by legendary pocket billiards. At 11, the late edition of the TSN Sports Desk. At 11:30, the face-to-face confrontations between newsmakers and newsbreakers on Sports Probe. And we continue all night long here on TSN.
Also, Boston 49, Detroit 46 at intermission. And as you might suspect, when these two ball clubs get together, you've got a lot of players on the floor who are among the league leaders in NBA individual categories. Let's check some of those particular statistical categories. Bernard King leading the way with nearly 32 a ball game. Purvis short of Golden State going almost unnoticed, Tom, at nearly 30 a game.
Well, part of the reason that those two people are up there is because there's no one else to score the points on their team. Joe Barry Carroll has gone to Italy, as we know, for Golden State. And, of course, all the centers that have gone down in the New York team has let those people be the entire offense. And that's the kind of statistics that it's going to generate.
Nothing new for Alex English being up there. There's Larry Bird, number 4 in the NBA. Moses Malone over 26 a contest. Michael Jordan in his rookie year averaging 25 and a half a game. And Isaiah Thomas is number 7 in the NBA in the scoring department. As for rebounding, Moses Malone, who seems to own this particular category, leading the way at over 14 a game. A big margin over Jeff Ruland, who we saw last week. Artis Gilmore averaging nearly 12 a night. Then Bill Lambier averaging 11 a game. And at least, as you mentioned before, if Bill's not going to score, we need him tonight. We, in a sense, the Pistons need him to at least hammer the boards.
And there's been some criticism in the paper about Lambier's efforts of late. And this is a great chance for Bill to redeem himself by going against the best and being the dominant player that he has been the last couple of years. Right now, not really playing like an all-star, but still getting some boards, but that average has been dwindling the last couple of weeks.
Hakeem Olajuwon averaging 11. LaSalle Thompson of the Kansas City Kings, who we'll see in a few weeks, surprisingly up there at 11 a game. And Buck Williams, a fine power forward rebounder at 11 a night. field goal percentage. James Donaldson, of course, I guess for him a foul shot is like a three-quarter length short shot. He's at 65%. Gilmore is 65%. Then Larry Nance, the dunk artist, at 62%. And there's Rowland at 61, who's putting together a heck of a season.
Yes, he is, and he never takes a bad shot. He always gets the layups or nice little soft hooks that he's so good at taking. And as long as you take good shots, you're going to keep that percentage up there.
Cheeks and Jabbar at the very bottom at 58%. Keep in mind Murray's point guard. As for assists, Isaiah Thomas, who has led virtually all year long, has dropped to number 2 behind his buddy Magic Johnson. Johnny Moore is at 9.5 a game. Are you surprised? I am at John Lucas and the fact that he's been able to return, averaging 9 assists a ball game.
Well, he's playing a lot of minutes down there. Johnny Lucas, a good penetrating guard. And if you can penetrate down there, you're going to have two very large people that you can dish the ball off to for easy assists.
At the top of the telecast, we spoke about that great Boston Celtic tradition. Names such as Cousy and Russell come to mind immediately, but maybe Larry Bird eventually will be the most famous Boston Celtic of them all, but right up there among them has to be a fellow by the name of John Havlicek.
For 16 years, he played basketball as if every game were for the title. John Havlicek's non-stop hustling style made him a 13-time All-Star and a key member of 8 Celtic championship teams. The all-time NBA leader in games played, Havlicek gave new meaning to the term sixth man as he came off the bench to ignite the Celtics in the early part of his career.
I set out to become the best sixth man because it was a significant role and one that a lot of people were trying to fulfill with a certain club. Actually, I was sort of an in-betweener. I was quick enough to play the guards and maybe a little overpowering for some of them because there were only 3-6-5 guards when I came into the league. And as a forward, I felt that my speed and quickness were great assets. So I looked at it as an opportunity to make a mark in the league, more or less, as the sixth man. And I think that it's become a trademark of basketball, and I'm very happy to have been maybe one of the better players at that position.
Having played on all those championship teams, Havlicek looks back on the mystique and aura that surrounded the Celtic dynasty.
They're symbols of a tradition, of a dynasty, of a team that excelled during a certain period of time. And it all goes back to Auerbach. He was a technician. He enabled everyone to learn a particular style, which basically helped the team rather than an individual performance. And we felt like it was a mistake when we lost. And the fellows took it that personally. And they all had that feeling of wanting to win and doing whatever it took to win. Of course, we had Bill Russell, who may have been the greatest player ever to play this game.
Havlicek traces his incredible stamina back to his childhood days in Ohio.
I never had a bicycle when I was growing up because we lived on a very busy street, and most of my friends did. Consequently, to be involved with them, I had to keep up with them, and as they were riding their bikes, I was running along, and without probably knowing it, I was developing a great deal of stamina. I was constantly on the run. I just loved running. I think mentally, I became very tough from the standpoint of knowing if I was beginning to tire or weaken a little bit and there was another player involved who was guarding me, I would say to myself, well, how must he feel? And I don't want to lose a mental war. I would want to put the person away mentally by not showing any effects of tiredness or anything like that. So it was a thing with me that, was mental toughness, more or less. And I really never got tired.
Havlicek may no longer be in the limelight, but the memories of an outstanding career still linger.
And having played for so many years, you just can't forget about it and leave it out of your life because it'll remain a part of me my whole life. And I just have to feel fortunate about it. And it was a good journey. It went by quickly. When I first started to play, I figured if I ever made $25,000 and played 10 years, that would be the ultimate. And fortunately, I was able to play 16 years and make much more money than that. So, it was just a great career.
Looking back at the years going by like so many summer views. 65, I was 17 and running up on one. I don't know where I'm running now.
autograph on pages 19.
I don't think many people down in Columbus, Ohio figured John Havlicek would go on to be such a great player that he was in Boston. There was a time, a lot of people don't know this, that he considered a football career with the Cleveland Browns when he left the Buckeyes.
That's right, and football's loss was certainly basketball's game because he's played so many years at such a great level and made a lot of memories for a lot of people.
Let's take a look at some of the first half numbers reflecting a very tough defensive struggle here tonight. Pistons only shooting 35%, 20 of 57. They have had 16 more shots than Boston, so that is significant. 42% for the Bostonians. Free throwing, 6 of 6 for Detroit, 15 of 18 for Boston, so they've gone to the line 3 more times than triple, we should say, than the Pistons have. Rebounding very close, 29-28 the way of Boston. And turnovers, Pistons doing a heck of a job protecting the ball, only 6 mistakes compared to 11 for Boston. Individually, Bird leading the way for the Celtics with 16 points. He has 8 in each quarter. Danny Ainge with 10 on 4 in the first quarter and 6 in the second. Maxwell with 9. Terry Tyler with a fine 12-point first half. Isaiah with 8 points. 6 of them of spectacular variety. And a couple of other Pistons, Tony Campbell and Dan Roundfield with 6 each. Rebounding, Bird with 9, leading the way for all players on the floor tonight. Parrish with 8 rebounds, 1 behind. McKay with 5, Roundfield with 8, along with Bill Lambier and Terry Tyler with 4 rebounds as well. We're set to start the second half. Danny Ainge and Dennis Johnson open on the Boston back line. Bird, Parrish, and Maxwell up front, the same 5 that started the ball game. Ditto for the Pistons. Vinnie Johnson, Isaiah, Roundfield, Lambier, and Tyler. Tyler helping out on Parrish. It worked. Isaiah with a rebound. That left Bird open, but it didn't matter. Vinnie Johnson scores.
Detroit with an opportunity to run a little bit. They didn't do a whole lot of it in the first half because Boston did a good job of coming back. Also, you have to keep everybody in to control your defensive boards when you're playing against a team like Boston.
49-48 is that Celtic advantage, which is back to 1 again. We've seen it go from 3 to 1 much of the remaining minutes of the second quarter. Bird, left-handed move.
Larry Bird.
Tough shot, and Bird got rid of that ball before he had to, just anticipating help on the weak side from Bill Lambier. Larry just got rid of it 5 feet away, made it a tough shot.
51-48 Celtics. Tyler over Bird. Strong, and Larry got the rebound. Number 10 for him.
And Pistons need to go with Robert Parrish. He's carrying those 3 fouls into the second half. Get a 4th, you can get him out of the game early and try and work on the other people.
Bird comes off a screen down low. Missed a shot. Roundfield with a board. Bounce pass for Vinny. Vinny never looked. Bird to Parrish to Maxwell. Maxwell will try again. Stolen by Vinnie Johnson. Pistons got a big break there. Boston usually makes you pay for those kind of mistakes. Tyler leaves it for Isaiah for a 17-footer that's short. Terry with the offensive board. He'll put it up again. Miss again. Lambier tried to out-battle Maxwell but couldn't come away with it. Cornbread nearly had his head torn off by Isaiah, and we got a foul on Thomas out front.
Foul number 11, Isaiah Thomas. That's his first, the team's first.
Yeah, Isaiah just kind of trying to slow Maxwell up because they were leading the fast break for the easy bucket. Lambier's got to hit the glass at the other end. Sometimes he gets so caught up in faking a foul as he did that time with Maxwell just out hustling him for the ball.
And we've got a whistle in the lane. Foul on Isaiah.
Number 11, Isaiah Thomas. That's his second, the team's
second for Isaiah. So 2 quick team fouls here on the Pistons. Dennis Johnson has been rather quiet tonight, you might say, with 1 field goal. Until that shot.
Dennis Johnson.
They can't let Dennis make that kind of penetration. Terry reached in to try and help out on Dennis Johnson, but kind of pulled away.
Pass is swatted out of bounds as Ainge goes into the second row. He's all right. Boston by 5 with 9:39 remaining in the third quarter. Roundfield double team by Ainge and Maxwell. Lambier fires, missing. Tyler tried to out-hustle Bird for the rebound. Lambier only with 4 points tonight. Roundfield cut off Maxwell, but Parrish got the board. Ainge will fire. And the Pistons will get it back.
Really got to wonder where Billy is tonight. You know, that time the ball was right there for the taking. He didn't get off the ground. You got to go at Boston. You got to want this game bad.
Lambier 2 of 8 shooting, so he'll pass for Roundfield. Foul behind on Maxwell.
Pistons try to do something inside. Get the ball inside, maybe draw some fouls. Work on Parrish a little bit with those 3 fouls, and Danny Roundfield, the best player Detroit has at posting up.
Pistons have been outscored 4-2 here in the early going of the third quarter. We played 3 minutes. Vinnie Johnson, left-handed shot, doesn't go home. Bird with a rebound. Hope we're not seeing a repeat of last Friday night when the Pistons went stone cold in the final quarter. Went nearly 5 minutes without a field goal. Dennis Johnson gets second in a row. He has 6, and it's 55-48. Boston matching their largest lead of the evening thus far. Vinny around to Lambier. Pick. Missed it. Bird with another board.
Got to get a higher percentage shot. Detroit shooting all jump shots here. They got to force the ball inside or have Isaiah take it to the hole.
Johnson again. Cans it again.
Got to get a timeout.
Dennis Johnson with 3 quick hoops. That one coming right in front of the Piston bench. 57-48 Boston. 20-second timeout on the floor. Larry Bird averaging 10 rebounds a game. He's already got 13 in the column thus far.
And the problem now, the Pistons getting away from doing the things that they did so well in the first half, which was playing good defense. Now, the last 3 times down, Dennis Johnson's gone for easy hoops. One a nice easy drive for a 3-foot hook shot, and then 2 set shots from the outside. Dennis Johnson can shoot a set shot. He has trouble shooting when he has to put the ball on the floor and move. So if he's going to stand out there in the corner, Vinny's got to go out and get him.
Johnson was 1 of 6 in the first half shooting department. He's hit those 3 in a row.
But
if you're holding ticket stub number 0000,
doing pretty well when that guy is scoring, but as we saw last week in Indiana, he doesn't mind not scoring a lot as long as the other guys are putting the points in. Isaiah along the baseline fires and scores.
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah into double digits again. 57-50 is the Boston lead. Johnson with more offense. Finally missed and Roundfield ripped down the board. Lost control of the dribble, luckily into the hands of Tyler. Terry comes up short, Maxwell with a rebound. Bird sees Parrish. Puts it through the floor. 7 for Robert Parrish. Credit Bird with the assist. 59-50, Boston by 9 again. Ainge giving Isaiah some room. That's Lambier. Off balance. Picked up the foul. Robert Parrish. 4 on the Chief.
Parrish is 4th, the team's 2nd.
Well, good fake by Lambier. If you watch Bill play, you'll notice that when he puts the ball on the floor and goes to his right, he very seldom will continue with the shot. He'll usually pull up just as he did there, give a little head fake, and try and draw the contact as he did that time from the Chief. That puts Parrish out of the game. Good strategy. Go at Lambs. Try and get Parrish out. I don't know if you're better off when McHale comes in or not, but at least you keep from playing McHale, Bird, and Parrish together at the same time. That's a lineup that'll kill you.
Let's take a look at the slam, NBA style by Parrish.
That's a great weapon to have when your center can run the court like Robert Parrish can. Good hands to pick up the ball on the break, and of course you can't stop him when he gets inside the paint area.
Parrish fouled out with about 5 minutes remaining in the season opener here, but it did not cost the Celtics a ball game. They of course went on to win by 7. Lambier with just 5 points, 59-51, Boston by 8. Benson guarding Bird now. Larry shoots up perhaps the first brick of his career. When do you see him do that? 3-on-2 break. Isaiah over Ainge. In and out. Isaiah will go to the foul line.
Hey, Ice had some trouble the last week or so here at the Silverdome, getting those three-point plays to fall. He's had so many that just lay on the rim and can't seem to spin out.
Isaiah Thomas on the line for Detroit.
The advantage of the running game, though. Getting down, you can draw a little contact. Probably a shot Isaiah should have made. I'm sure he'd say so. Can't let Boston get too far ahead of you. They've got so many big people that they can get too many easy baskets that if they get up 8 or 10, you'll never catch them.
They're so great at going for the jugular vein and putting the ball game away.
Special bonus for all Pistons season ticket holders. One of you will
59-51 is our score. Boston on top by 8 with 6:53 left to go in the third quarter.
Never thought I'd agree with him. We don't agree. You don't think folks shop at Canadian Tire because they got so many gift ideas? Houseware, sporting goods? Nonsense. They go there to save money. No, to make people happy. Saving money makes me happy. Oh, Ebenezer, you know you've got a heart of gold in there. And it's mine. Oh, mine.
Canadian Tire lets you give like Santa and save like Scrooge.
TSN's legendary pocket billiards travels to Atlantic City, Las Vegas, and New York to pit masters of the game against each other in a contest of skill and accuracy. Minnesota Fats, Willie Mosconi, Luther Lassiter, and others compete playing 8 and 9 ball as well as straight pool. A fascinating hour of billiards when the world's best demonstrate their skills. Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, just ahead of Sports Desk, here on TSN.
Pistons in an 8-point hole. Isaiah will try to cut it back to 6 with a couple from the free throw line. Terry Tyler, who was feeling it in the first half from the shooting department, has cooled off. So have the rest of the Pistons here in the third quarter rather. Pistons shooting just 22% from the floor in this stanza.
A lot of that's indicative of the kind of shots they've been getting. Detroit living and dying on the outside jump shot in the first half, and they lived a little bit. But the second half, the shots just haven't been falling for them. They're going to have to get inside for some more high percentage shots, I think, and execute a little bit better on offense.
Boston shooting 42%. Isaiah sinks the first, so he has 11. Give him a dozen. And we have a 59-53 count.
A tough matchup down here. Ken Benson on Larry Bird. Benny's going to have to work awfully hard to stay with him.
No changes for either team during the timeout. Dennis Johnson misfires. Lambert with an aggressive board. Pistons can draw back within 4 points with a hoop. Lambert is open. Short. Roundfield with a rebound. Missed the putback, but he'll go to the foul line.
No basket.
Cornbread had the great position that time, but it was a long rebound. Lambert's shot, his shot was flat trajectory, kind of tends to go long like that. Roundfield actually on the outside turned out to be in perfect position for that shot. We'll go to the line for 2.
Roundfield now with 7 points. Lambert just doesn't seem to be quite as confident in the last few ball games. Roundfield missing the second. 59-54. Pistons led by a couple of hoops in the first quarter, but have been down much of the way here. Lambert with another rebound off the Bird miss.
Billy's game starts with the boards. If he can get a couple of monster boards, get them strong, he'll be more aggressive on the offensive end as well.
Benson from 18 feet, rimmed it, and Bird with a rebound. Pistons cannot buy a field goal whatsoever. They're below 20% now in the quarter. Bird to the hole. Nothing but net.
That was a nice little skip into the lane. That was a much tougher shot than Larry Bird makes it look.
He shoots them from all body positions. 20 points for the Birdman. 61-54. Roundfield to Lambert. Sights it and hits it. There you go. I just seen Billy make that little fist gesture going down the floor. Maybe that'll help him break out. 7 for Lambert.
It's about time, I think Billy was saying to himself. Maybe we can get it going now.
61-56 Boston. Lambert guarding McHale. Isaiah stole it. contact with Dennis Johnson. No foul, and Vinny jams it.
Good play for Detroit. Tough call. There's got to be a call there with that much contact, one way or the other.
I would think so. Isaiah really saw that pass coming. 61-58 our score. Dennis Johnson to the hole, scores, he's fouled.
Dennis Johnson.
Chuck Daly shoots off the bench in disgust.
Foul number 54, Ken Benson.
Foul is on Benson.
That was an incredibly difficult shot by Dennis Johnson. Slams into Kent Benson. Benny making a good play now, cutting over to help out. We're not going to see that, but we will see Isaiah after the contact with Dennis Johnson giving it up to Vinny so that Vinny can go in for the easy one as Dennis Johnson shoots free throws at the other end.
Please report to security.
Kent Benson just looked over to us and says, unbelievable. 64-58. Dennis Johnson with 9. Johnson claims a loose ball. Stolen by Vinny Johnson. Pistons will try again. Vinny from 13. Yes!
Tough shot. Vinny pushed in the side by Danny Ainge, yelling at referee Jeff Kersey. Vinny maintaining his body control and sinking a tough basket.
But Johnson gets another tough one back. And boy, is he lighting up here in the third quarter. He's got 9 in the quarter, 11 in the ball game. 66-60 is our score. Vinny missed a shot, was fouled. Foul is on McHale.
Boston foul number 32, Kevin McHale. His second
on McHale, and the Celtics are over the limit.
McHale looking away a little bit as if he didn't foul Vinny on that particular play, and that may be a payback for the one that Vinny didn't get the other time down the court. There's some advantages to not being known as a complainer and a whiner around the NBA, because then when you do say something, officials know that they probably missed a call on you, and they'll make it up in the course of the game.
Vinny at least splits the pair, so give him 9 points in the ball game. 66-61 with an even 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Celtics by a handful. Benson bumping Bird. Good pass off the head of Ainge. Out of bounds. Wasn't Bird's fault.
Oh, like a wide receiver hearing footsteps that time down. Danny Ainge ready to be picked up when he went to the boards. Took his eye off the ball for a moment, and it went out of bounds.
Good thing he never did that with the Blue Jays. Vinny Johnson back to Isaiah. Down low to Lambier. 8 seconds on the shot clock. He scores. He's fouled. He'll go to the line.
Good play by Bill Lambier, and great patience shown that time on offense. Knew McHale was coming. Took the contact.
McHale his third.
Good fake. Got the contact and waited till just that moment to throw it up. You know, it's a good shot when you're a strong man like Lambier. You can withstand that kind of physical contact that he just received from McHale and still have enough strength to feather it up there as he did.
Billy with a three-point play. That's a big one. 66-64 Boston. McHale now with 3 personal fouls. Parrish is on the bench with 4. So that could become a factor. Maxwell, bad pass by Ainge, but he saved it to McHale. Bird around Benson, triple teamed underneath, and he drew the foul.
I think they may divide that foul and give everybody a quarter foul, because everybody had a piece of Larry Bird on that play.
Third, the team's fourth.
One head fake and he's gone. Here comes Roundfield, here comes Isaiah. Up in the air is Vinny. Lambier waiting to catch him when he comes down.
I'd say it's a pretty good fake when you can get 3 guys at once going off their feet.
For 2 shots.
It's like giving him a layup when he goes to the free throw line, though. Such a deadly player. No weaknesses in Larry Bird's game. That's one of the things that makes him the best.
Now, he's only a 91% free thrower coming in. And tonight he is 5 of 5. Look at the 14 rebounds. And again, keep in mind, we're still in the third quarter. Well, wonders never cease. Bird missing a free throw. 21 for Larry. 67-64 Boston. Isaiah reversed off the pick. Feeds Benson. Good pass. Then he missed a shot. Lambier follows him. Bill Lambier with a spirited third quarter. He's got 7 in the quarter, 11 in the ball game, and the Pistons draw back within a point.
You know, Billy's starting to wake up and shake off some of that lethargy, and that's important for Detroit.
Maxwell was fouled on the way to the hoop. Lambier picked up his 13th rebound on that effort.
That's a really good experienced move by Cornbread Maxwell. I don't think he really thought that he had a shot at making that basket, but he just kind of slithers his way in, draws the body contact, and knows he's going to be the beneficiary of the call.
So Maxwell, when we come back, we'll go to the line for a couple of shots. Last year, he had his lowest points per game average of nearly 12 a game since his rookie season. But when he came in as a rookie, he was counted up to score a little bit more than he has now because obviously with the likes of Bird and McHale and Parrish, you don't have to worry about putting it up 15, 20 times a night.
Courtesy of Village Ford.
You get a good shot now. Just a smart play. You know, you're not going to make this basket probably if you're Cedric Maxwell, but you do know you're going to get a shot to earn it at the line. He's a good free throw shooter. In fact, you know, they play a lot of games with statistics at the end of the year, and you take everybody's numbers for the minutes that they play, and then you figure it on an average of 48 minutes, as if they played a full game year after year based on shots taken, percentages shot, rebounds, and everything else. Cedric Maxwell's in the top 5 or 10 of the entire NBA, which sort of surprises a lot of the experts.
IHL hockey will return to Pro-Am Sports on Thursday night, December 6th, from the Mecca in Milwaukee. The Flint Generals will be taking on the Milwaukee Admirals, 7:30, right here on Pro-Am Sports. I mentioned Cedric Maxwell, who is a very intense individual, although maybe on the outside you perhaps cannot detect it. But for example, when the Celtics met the Bulls for the first time this year in Chicago, Sidney Green, the second-year guy for the Bulls, was saying, boy, if we could sweep San Antonio, Philadelphia, and Boston in a row, I'll feel like I just hit the lottery. Maxwell read that, said, you're not going to win the lottery there, young fella, and he went out and scored 30 points that night.
All Hudson stores, all AAA branches.
Cedric's got, as we see the rebounds, with Detroit out-rebounding Boston now 38-36, and they've been hitting the glass real well in the last half of the third quarter after letting Boston climb out to an 8 or 10 point lead earlier.
Good to see Lambier cooking it up again with 11 points, and he was rather dormant with his 4 points coming very early in the ballgame. He had 4 at halftime.
Sometimes it seems that if Bill's not hitting his shot, it affects the rest of his game, and he just becomes a little less confident in everything that he does. But then when he hits a couple of buckets, it seems to turn him on a little bit on the boards, and Detroit needs he and Roundfield to have great games to beat a club like Boston.
Third quarter shooting, Pistons now back up to 39%. Boston at 47%. Maxwell looking for his first point of the second half. So he gets into double figures for the night. Boston has 4 players in double digits. Maxwell with 11. 69-66, another 3-point lead. How many times have we seen that happen tonight? A lot of muscle on the guard position away from the ball. Vinnie Johnson and Quinn Buckner. Vinnie buries it. 11 for VJ. Maxwell coming back very quickly for Boston now. Nearly swiped a couple of times, and Buckner retrieved it. Pistons hawking the basketball. They're down 69-61. Crowd is appreciative. Shot clock at 8 as Bruce Alexander spots a foul.
That's a tough call. Dennis Johnson trying to move through the lane. Vinnie Johnson standing there. Dennis just leaned into him, pushed off. Vinnie Johnson picks up the call.
Second personal assessed to VJ. And so DJ will go to the line.
Dennis Johnson the line for Boston, 1+ the penalty for 2 shots.
Dennis Johnson with 14. He's 5 of 7 from the field here in the third quarter. There you see what he did the opener against the Pistons. He had 28 in the other meeting in Boston. 71-68. Vinnie Johnson again. Tough shot.
Great shot by Vinnie. You got Quinn Buckner pushing him right out of bounds, and Vinnie jawing a little bit with Jess Kersey. That's 2 calls he felt he should have had in this quarter.
71-70. Boston by 1. 1:50 left in the quarter. Bird is open. Feeds McHale instead for the easy lay.
From Larry Bird.
He just sees everybody on that floor, doesn't he? McHale with 7. Boston again by 3. Vinnie Johnson airborne scores. He's fouled.
Quinn Buckner's still looking for Vinnie Johnson. He's been on the court about 3 minutes, and all he sees is 15 flying by him all night.
Vinnie Johnson at the line for Detroit for
2 incredible physical specimens, but Quinn Buckner's best years are behind him. Vinnie Johnson can still play a little bit, gets up too high for Quinn.
Vinny is 6 of 8 here in the third quarter. He now has 14 for the ball game. 73-73 tie, the best the Pistons have been able to do since the first quarter. 1:20 on the third quarter clock. Bird against Tyler. Spots Dennis Johnson somehow. DJ gets the layup. Another great pass by Bird.
That's the double team. You know, every time you double team Larry Bird, you got to be extra alert and guard the basket. Make him kick it out to somebody outside rather than an inside pass.
A minute to play in the quarter. Boston by 2 again. Tyler, down low to Curitan, short. Earl tipped it and may have picked up a loose ball foul in the process. He does.
That's a tough sequence there. That's a very difficult shot for Earl, a little soft hook shot.
Number 23-year-old
And as it comes off hard from the rim, he just kind of reaches up, tries to tip it in himself. When you pick up that loose ball foul and the penalty, it's a 4-point switch.
For the Celtics, 1 plus the penalty for 2 shots.
And no question, the Pistons are going to have to be able to beat clubs like the Bostons, the Phillies, which they have already one time this year, beating the Sixers in Philly. But you've got to beat those clubs if you're going to become a part of that select circle.
And if you want to run off a string, which the Detroit Pistons obviously need to do, to put a little distance between themselves and Milwaukee. Boston make a change here with ML Carr coming in to try and slow down Vinnie Johnson. ML play him very physical and very dirty.
Vinnie Johnson.
And very poorly, did I mention that?
16 for Vinnie. A 14-point second quarter. 76-75 Boston. Vinnie now 7 of 9 in the quarter. Vinnie will double team. That leaves ML Carr open. Lambeer forced a higher trajectory. Carr fouled Thomas. No foul call. 4-on-1 break. Curitan. The crowd goes crazy with that one. 77-76 Pistons with their first lead of the second half. You can see that one coming. Final 7 seconds of the third quarter. Bird missing. Rebound Vinnie. 3-on-1 break again. Vinnie Johnson from 3. That'll do it. This place would have come unglued had that one hit the bottom of the bucket.
We got to buy Vinnie a wristwatch. That's twice this year. He's just shot way too early on that situation, but he can't blame him for that quarter.
He made the 45-footer in Dallas, but this time he comes up short. We have finished 3 quarters of play. Standing ovation for the guys in the white. They lead it 77-76.
When you first see the Mazda RX-7, you begin to understand why it has become a legend among today's sports cars. Because beyond its classic styling, you soon discover the orthopedic perfection of its bucket seats and experience its comprehensive instrumentation. You feel the preciseness of its 5-speed overdrive. Those things alone help make it an exceptional value. But to gain an even deeper understanding of the RX-7, you're going to have to experience roads like these for yourself. Mazda RX-7.
A different frontier. Not up in space, but 3 miles below the surface. Searching for something few can find. Because of their continuous advances in exploration technology, Shell Canada has long been this country's leading producer of natural gas. Shell Canada, putting technology and people to work.
The BMX Pro Spectacular Series, exclusively on the Sports Network. Competitors in various age categories compete for prize monies totaling $50,000. A great 1 hour for bicycle and race enthusiasts. The BMX Pro Spectacular Series, exclusively on the Sports Network.
Let's take a look at the defensive efforts of the Pistons, which resulted in the Earl Curitan jam.
A little foul there by M.L. Carr reaching across Isaiah. Vinny picks the ball up, speeds it down the court. Has a couple of options here. Gives it to Earl, who just takes it in. There's no denying him on that one. Dennis Johnson almost with a stupid foul. Perfect pass by Vinny. Nice and soft right into the hands of Curitin on the move, so the big guy doesn't have to put it on the floor at all. Detroit had a couple of fast-break baskets, and they have to do that against Boston because they play such great half-court defense against you.
Pistons outscored Boston 31-27 in that third quarter to get themselves up by 1 as we strap on the seatbelts here for the final quarter of play. Scott Wedman will open the quarter for the Boston Celtics. Up front, along with McHale and Parrish, it's Dennis Johnson, M.L. Carr in the backcourt. Isaiah and Vinny along the back line for Detroit. Lambier off the side of the backboard. Vinny Johnson, a big part of that Piston comeback with 14 points in the third quarter. McHale looking for somebody who's open. Parrish up high. Wedman, his first shot of the night, short. McHale got a hand on the rebound, so did Parrish and Curitin. We've got a loose ball foul. It'll be on Earl, I believe.
Detroit foul number 23, Earl Curitin.
Tough situation for the Pistons because they're going to have to play some people a lot of minutes here. Lambier went the whole third quarter. Isaiah the whole third quarter just about. Vinny Johnson, who was shooting so well, you can't take him out either. So stay with it as long as you can. Lambier moving out now.
Dan Roundfield back in the ball game. He comes in with 13 rebounds to his credit already. Ainge fires. In and out. McHale over the back of Tyler will pick up a loose ball foul. And that should be 4 on McHale.
Boston foul number 32.
Parrish already has 4 in the floor.
The team's first.
Curitin with 4 for Detroit. He's the Piston in the most serious foul trouble. 77-76 Detroit. We've played a minute without a point here in the quarter. Isaiah. Dennis Johnson with a long rebound. Wedman down low to McHale. Isaiah got a hand in there. Dennis Johnson is open. He scores.
Dennis Johnson.
19 for DJ.
That shot will be there because of the way the Pistons are packing in the paint when somebody drives.
Isaiah gets it right back. 14 for Thomas. 79-78 Detroit. Pass was too far for McHale. Roundfield was fronting him.
Danny was also grabbing him, and Jess Kersey didn't happen to see that part. But he kept McHale from going after that ball.
Isaiah gets it. Off the Curitin screen. In and out. Rebound to McHale.
Hey, Kevin gets inside there, and those long arms and his good jumping ability just control the glass for Boston.
Undoubtedly the premier sixth man in basketball today and tonight. Ainge to McHale, who walked, no call. Ball was stripped. What do we got? Somebody had their foot on the line, so it'll go to the Boston Celtics.
See Isaiah coming over now, slapping the ball away from McHale, but they're ruling that Isaiah was out of bounds. I think he was.
Good call by Kersey. McHale looping for Parrish. Roundfield almost got a hand on it, and McHale gets the layup. Parrish with the assist.
Yeah, they got 2 guys out there that can tie their shoes without bending over in McHale and Parrish, and you can just throw high lobs to them, and it's not a thing you can do about it defensively.
Vinny Johnson back out to Isaiah. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Curitin goes, lays it up and in.
Good play by Detroit. They got caught in a switch. Curitin was down with Dennis Johnson. Just went right at him, by him, and over him. Nice play by Earl.
Pistons regain the lead of 181-80. 9:15 to go in the fourth quarter.
I'd like to put a few points up there between the two teams before Larry Bird comes in for his fourth quarter finale.
How about a 20-0 run? Even then you wouldn't be safe. McHale backed in on Tyler. And we've got a foul on Isaiah.
Detroit foul number 11, Isaiah Thomas, his 4th.
4th foul on Isaiah, and that's not good news at all as Brooks Steppe comes off the bench. So Chuck Daly will have to sit Isaiah down for a few minutes.
Can't sit him down for too long. This is going to change the tempo. You'll see Boston probably bring Bird back soon. Without Isaiah there to counteract by leading the Detroit offense, it's going to be a tough next 2 or 3 minutes.
Bird back in the ball game. Well, you may recall last week against Portland, with about 5 minutes left, Isaiah committed his 5th foul. Chuck Daly left him in the ball game, and about 10 seconds later, Isaiah fouled out. And Chuck said he'll never do that again. And of course, the Pistons had to kind of hold on against the Trailblazers with Isaiah fouled out. McHale now with 11 points in the ball game, and it's 82-81. Boston back in front. So Steppe will join Vinnie Johnson on the back line for Detroit. Vinnie backing against Ames. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Spinning, scoring.